U.S. strikes Iran's Hormuz coast after IRGC assault on American destroyers, global oil route now on the edge. The Strait of Hormuz has once again become the center of a dangerous geopolitical storm after a major naval confrontation between the United States and Iran triggered fears of a broader regional war and a potential global energy crisis. On May 7, 2026, three U.S. Navy-guided missile destroyers, the USS Truxtun, DDG-103, USS Rafael Peralta, DDG-115, and USS Mason, DDG-87, were reportedly transiting the narrow waters of the strait when they came under what U.S. Central Command described as a fierce and sustained multi-domain assault by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to military accounts, the attack included anti-ship ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, explosive drones, and swarms of fast attack boats designed to overwhelm American naval defenses through sheer volume and confusion. The confrontation immediately transformed one of the world's most sensitive maritime corridors into a live battlefield. Washington claims the destroyers intercepted all incoming threats without sustaining damage, while Iran insists the American vessels suffered serious losses and were forced to retreat under pressure. The contradictory narratives are now fueling an information war alongside the military standoff, as global markets, intelligence agencies, and world leaders attempt to determine whether this was an isolated escalation or the beginning of a larger collapse of the fragile Gulf ceasefire. What makes this confrontation especially alarming is that it occurred during what was technically supposed to be a de-escalation period following months of conflict linked to the broader U.S.-Iran war that erupted earlier in 2026. Following the attacks, the United States launched rapid retaliatory strikes targeting Iranian military infrastructure along the Hormuz coastline. Explosions were reported in Bandar Abbas and on Qasem Island, two locations considered vital to Iran's maritime defense architecture. U.S. officials said the strikes focused on missile launch systems, drone coordination centers, radar installations, surveillance nodes, and command and control facilities linked to the IRGC Navy. President Donald Trump publicly declared that the attacking Iranian assets had been completely destroyed, including multiple small attack boats allegedly involved in the assault. Iran, however, framed the confrontation as retaliation for a previous U.S. operation targeting an Iranian tanker on May 6 and accused Washington of escalating tensions deliberately to pressure Tehran into accepting unfavorable peace conditions. Iranian state-linked media outlets claimed the IRGC inflicted significant damage on U.S. naval forces, although those claims remain unverified. Even more concerning, reports emerged that U.S. forces later disabled additional Iranian-flagged vessels accused of attempting to breach the American naval blockades surrounding Iranian ports. That move signaled that the crisis is no longer limited to isolated clashes but is rapidly evolving into a contest over control of maritime commerce itself. At the heart of this confrontation lies a dangerous strategic chessboard built around what analysts are calling a dual blockade. Since the outbreak of war earlier this year, Iran has attempted to leverage its geographic advantage over the Strait of Hormuz by restricting shipping traffic and threatening international energy flows. The strategy immediately rattled global markets because roughly one-fifth of the world's oil supply and a significant percentage of global liquefied natural gas exports move through this narrow maritime corridor every day. In response, the United States initiated its own counterblockade, intercepting vessels connected to Iranian ports in an effort to choke Tehran's oil revenues and force diplomatic concessions. The result is a maritime standoff unlike anything seen in decades, a direct economic strangulation contest between two heavily armed adversaries operating in one of the world's most strategically vital waterways. Behind the scenes, the confrontation is also tied to the aftermath of the controversial U.S.-Israeli campaign known as Operation Epic Fury, which reportedly began with the assassination of Iran's supreme leader and triggered retaliatory attacks across the region. The latest naval clash appears deeply connected to Washington's broader Project Freedom initiative, an operation intended to escort commercial shipping through Hormuz despite Iranian threats. Although the project was temporarily paused amid signs of diplomatic progress, the IRGC assault on the destroyers may now convince U.S. military planners that a stronger and more permanent naval posture is required. The geography of this crisis explains why the latest strikes have generated such intense global anxiety. Qasem Island is not simply another island in the Gulf, it functions as a massive forward operating platform for Iran's asymmetric naval strategy. Intelligence analysts have long described it as an unsinkable aircraft carrier because of its network of underground missile facilities, hidden drone launch areas, and fast boat staging zones embedded throughout mountainous terrain and tunnel systems. Any vessel entering or leaving the Persian Gulf must pass within range of weapons stationed there. By targeting surveillance systems and missile infrastructure on Qeshm, the United States appears to be attempting to blind Iran's coastal defenses in preparation for future convoy escort missions if diplomacy collapses entirely. Meanwhile, Bandar Abbas serves as Iran's principal naval and commercial gateway, housing critical IRGC Navy logistics, command operations, and shipping infrastructure. Striking these locations sends a calculated message. Washington is demonstrating that it can systematically dismantle Iran's ability to threaten shipping lanes if the confrontation escalates further. Yet this strategy also carries enormous risks because military operations near densely populated port infrastructure increase the chances of civilian casualties, humanitarian disruption, and accidental escalation into unrestricted regional war. The global implications of the crisis are already being felt far beyond the Middle East. Energy markets reacted immediately, with Brent crude prices reportedly surging sharply amid fears that the Strait of Hormuz could become partially or fully unusable for commercial shipping. Maritime insurance rates for tankers operating in the Gulf have also skyrocketed, reflecting fears of missile attacks, drone strikes, or naval interdictions. Several international shipping firms are now reassessing whether transit through Hormuz remains commercially viable at all. If shipping disruptions continue, the consequences could spread rapidly into global inflation, supply chain instability, and economic slowdown. Asian economies are particularly vulnerable because countries such as India, Japan, and South Korea rely heavily on Gulf energy imports. Europe also faces serious concerns due to its dependence on Qatari LNG exports that pass directly through Hormuz. The longer this confrontation persists, the greater the possibility that central banks worldwide may be forced to reconsider monetary easing plans as energy-driven inflation returns with force. Economists increasingly warn that the world may be entering a new era where geopolitical security concerns permanently override efficiency-based globalization, fragmenting trade networks into rival strategic blocs. Another major dimension of the crisis involves the growing tension between Washington and Beijing. China remains one of the primary buyers of Iranian crude oil and has strongly criticized the American blockade operations as destabilizing and dangerous. Chinese officials have warned that interference with commercial shipping threatens not only regional stability but also the global economy. There are increasing concerns that Chinese naval vessels operating in nearby waters to protect trade routes could eventually find themselves in close proximity to U.S. forces enforcing the blockade. Even if neither side seeks direct confrontation, the presence of multiple heavily armed naval powers operating under extreme pressure dramatically raises the risk of miscalculation. Russia has also been closely monitoring developments, viewing the Hormuz crisis as part of a larger global contest over Western military dominance, sanctions enforcement, and control of strategic trade corridors. As a result, the Strait of Hormuz is no longer merely a regional flashpoint, it is evolving into a geopolitical pressure point where the interests of multiple nuclear-armed powers increasingly overlap. Military planners are now evaluating several dangerous escalation pathways if current negotiations collapse. One scenario involves a massive expansion of U.S. air and missile strikes targeting Iranian infrastructure far beyond coastal defenses. Analysts believe contingency plans may already exist for attacks on industrial sites, power grids, military production facilities, and remaining nuclear infrastructure in an effort to force decisive Iranian concessions or even trigger systemic regime destabilization. Another possibility involves limited ground operations focused on strategically important islands such as Qeshm or Karg Island. While a full-scale invasion of mainland Iran remains unlikely, limited amphibious seizures designed to secure shipping lanes are increasingly being discussed in military circles. Iran, meanwhile, has threatened severe retaliation against U.S. regional allies including Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Bahrain, and Qatar if the ceasefire officially collapses. Tehran could also activate regional proxy networks across multiple theaters simultaneously, transforming the current standoff into a multi-front regional conflict stretching from the Gulf to the Levant. Perhaps the most dangerous scenario is a prolonged war of attrition in which neither side achieves decisive victory but both continue periodic missile exchanges, naval clashes, cyber operations, and economic warfare indefinitely. Such a frozen conflict could permanently damage the global economy while keeping the risk of sudden escalation constantly alive. Everything now depends on diplomacy, military signaling, and the next moves from Tehran and Washington. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is reportedly awaiting Iran's formal response to a proposed 14-point framework intended to stabilize the region and reopen the strait. The proposal reportedly includes provisions for a temporary ceasefire extension, phased easing of the blockade, maritime security guarantees, and restrictions on Iranian nuclear enrichment activities. Iran, however, is demanding the lifting of naval restrictions, the release of frozen assets, and recognition of what it describes as its legitimate regional security interests. The coming days are therefore viewed as a decisive diplomatic crossroads. If Tehran accepts negotiations, the world could see a temporary stabilization of energy markets and a gradual reopening of shipping lanes. If it rejects the proposal, Washington has signaled that military operations could resume at a much higher intensity. At the same time, the scheduled Israel-Lebanon negotiations later this month add another layer of complexity because Iran reportedly views developments in Lebanon as inseparable from the broader regional settlement. The next 72 hours may therefore determine whether the world steps back from the brink or enters a far more dangerous phase of confrontation. This is no longer simply a regional naval incident. The Strait of Hormuz has become the front line of a wider geopolitical struggle involving energy security, military deterrence, great power rivalry, and the future architecture of global trade. Every missile launch, every tanker interception, and every diplomatic statement now carry implications far beyond the Gulf. Markets are watching. Militaries are repositioning. Intelligence agencies are recalculating risk scenarios by the hour. And ordinary citizens around the world may soon feel the consequences through rising fuel prices, inflation, disrupted supply chains, and growing fears of a wider international crisis. The next chapter of this confrontation could reshape not only Middle Eastern security but the global balance of power itself. Hit the subscribe button right now. Click the share button and spread this update. Turn on notifications so you never miss a global alert. And drop your thoughts in the comments because in moments like this, your voice matters.